What's up guys, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel, and for those of you who don't know me or aren't familiar with my work, I am a travel and portrait photographer based out here in Santa Clara, California. And chances are, if I'm not out there exploring the world, I'm working at one of my favorite outdoor retail stores, and that being Sports Basement at the Redwood City location. In this video, what I want to talk about is what's in my 50-liter backpacking bag, because upon reflecting and just being here in the outdoor retail industry for like well over 3 years now, I feel like I have built a kit that I feel like suits my needs, but at the same time, what I want to do is help you get outdoors too. So we're going to be breaking down a lot of things in this video, particularly what things that you should consider when building out your own kit. And don't worry, I have a really cool tip and trick about how to get out there to the doors really easily without breaking the bank. Stick around till the end to find out. If you want to pick up for yourself some really nice gear and also help support the channel, I will drop some affiliate links in the description below at no extra cost to you. So that way, if you want to show some love and also pick yourself up some really nice gear, you're effectively knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. There's a whole lot we're going to unpack and pack together, so let's go ahead and just hop right into it. Starting off with the first things first, you can't go backpacking unless you have your backpacking bag. This right here is my trusty travel partner. This is a 50-liter bag. This is the Fernway by the brand Wandered, and I picked this bag for a couple different reasons. But before I get into the bag specifics, I want to talk about some generalizations as well as things to consider when picking out your bag. First things first, understanding how long you're going to be out there in the backcountry for is going to help you determine how many liters that you're going to be carrying with you, not necessarily how big your bag is going to be relative to your person size. That's a whole separate topic. But I would say, like, for at least my style of camping, if you're going to be going for like say 4 days 3 nights, 3 days 2 nights, I would say 50 liters is definitely going to suffice. However, if you're going to be going for like multi-day hikes, you're going to be through hiking, or you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff depending on the kind of expedition or like thing that you're going to do, you might want to look into something like maybe 50 liters and above too. Now, something else to consider is going to be the comfort of the bag itself. Bags come in a variety of different shapes and sizes as well as different builds. This bag right over here, I bought this bag for a couple of different reasons, but particularly I read how comfortable this bag is, and I will tell you this bag is super comfortable. Now, comfort can be subjective to everyone. When it comes to comfort, think about like structure versus non-structure. I say that because some bags, they may not have a frame, and that will play into the weight of the bag itself too. Weight can be very important to some people, especially if you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff and you want to be very gram or pound conscious. At least with this bag that I have over here, I have a bag that has a lot of structure to it as well as a lot of foam to it as well. Foam as a material, it is pretty dense and it is a lot more weighty than air itself. So while you are going to have a more comfortable bag when it comes to having foam pressed up against your back, at the same time you are going to be carrying extra weight. So being mindful of how much weight that you want to keep your bag under or at is going to be really important. There are some bags out there that are going to be really amazing at staying lightweight, just under like say 3 pounds. However, they are not going to have structure, or they may not have that level of comfortability compared to like a bag that say is like 5 pounds, but at the same time has a lot of foam throughout the different parts of the contact points on your body. So something to consider too. And like I mentioned earlier, think about the size relative to your person. This is to say there are bags that come in say like small, extra small, or like medium, small, medium, large, XL. There's a whole different like say ranges to consider. Now this is all to say get bag fitted. Now the difference between going online and like searching it on Google, using ChatGPT, Google Gemini, whatever it may be, while yes, those are really good starting points to base your research off of, you shouldn't just use those as endpoints itself. Your reason being, because ChatGPT, Google Gemini, any of those AI tools, they do not touch grass, they do not go out there in the backcountry, they don't know what it's like to bag fit. Go ahead and see a professional bag fitter at one of your outdoor retail stores, or just come at Sports Basement, go to the Redwood City location and sync up with me. I'll help you, I got you, don't even worry about it. But trust real people that actually do what it is that you want to do. Don't trust electronics, Google, whatever it may be, because again, they don't go to the backcountry like real people. Getting into the bag specifics itself over here, the reason why I got the Fernway 50 is because of a couple different reasons. Particularly, this has a dedicated camera cube in it. I can go ahead and bring not only my electronics, but more importantly, my camera itself, so that way I can go ahead and out there create stories, take some photos, whatever I need to do with my camera, this bag can do it without any compromise. Leading into my second point, this is a weatherproof bag, and this means that I can go ahead and take this in a variety of adverse weather conditions. Now, the most extreme condition that I took this bag in was when I went snow camping in Yosemite, went with the homies to go see firefalls, and as beautiful as it was, I was definitely fearing for my electronics, especially my camera, because I didn't know at the time how well this bag was going to hold up. And by all means, this bag exceeded my expectations. No compromises, no freezing up on the camera, no damage to the camera whatsoever. And keep in mind, like, I am sleeping on top of a ridge in the snow overlooking Yosemite Valley and no damage or whatsoever to my camera. So I wholeheartedly would recommend this bag if you are going to be carrying a camera or just fragile items because of that dedicated camera cube, as well as the rain fly to further protect your equipment from different kinds of harsh conditions as well. Like I mentioned, comfort is going to be subjective to everyone. This is a super comfortable bag. I can't hit that point home hard enough, but I would say I'm definitely the type of guy where I would want to have foam surrounding different contact points of my body, so that way I have long-term comfort. Because if you're going to be out there for 8 hours a day doing some backcountry hiking, that's going to be a whole shift, and you definitely want to feel comfortable as you're hiking into the woods or the wilderness or wherever it may be. So definitely trust this bag. And 50 liters, again, for my style of camping, 4 days, 3 nights, 3 days, 2 nights on average of what I'm doing, that's 50 liters will suffice for that period of time. Comfort is king. Get sized by a real person, and at the same time just enjoy it, and also be mindful of how long you're going to be out there for, because that will help drive and determine what you need to bring in your kit. Being out there in the backcountry, it may not be as comfortable as some people may think it is. However, you can make it as comfortable as you want it to be, and that depends on your sleep system itself too. So starting off with your sleep system, there's key things I'm going to be bringing along the way, that being my shelter, that is my tent, my sleeping bag, as well as my pad. Now, those are my core items. However, there is one key item that I will never ever forget, and that is going to be a pillow as well. I'll get into that later on, but hopping into this tent over here. Now, this bad boy is the Big Agnes Ultralight Tiger Wall 1, and I love this for a couple different reasons. When it comes to your tent, consider these things. One, how compact, lightweight, as well as easy it is to set up. There's a lot of tents out there where they don't require a lot of painstaking say time to go ahead and rebuild it. At the same time, what it is for the most part when it comes to building up your tent, probably one pole that's interconnected with different poles, or maybe a couple poles depending on the size and the frame itself too. So you're not going to be out there struggling in the backcountry to go ahead and make your shelter. Additionally, think about how much weight that you're going to be carrying. That's going to be a common theme throughout this video. When it comes to the weight itself, think about how much capacity it is in terms of person that you're going to be using for the tent. Just because I'm a one person, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be using a one person. I could also use a 2-person tent, so that way I have a little bit more space and comfort and room to roll around, as well as just store my stuff in different places. At the same time, going up in terms of capacity will also means going up in terms of the weight of the pack itself. So because I'm rocking a ultralight one over here, the Tiger Wall, the pack weight of this is about under 3 pounds, but the unpacked weight when it's fully pitched up and everything, it's going to be less than 2 pounds. Having something that's pretty lightweight, easy to set up is really important to me. And the other reason why I absolutely love this tent too is because it is a bright yellow tent. It is visible, so that way if people need to spot me from a distance, I can go ahead and just make sure that I am visible. There are going to be other color tents where you might be blending in with the background. At the same time, I just want to make sure that I'm visible, so whoever I'm with at the time can make sure that they spot me. And I feel like that's a point that doesn't really get talked about enough when talking about or considering tents itself too. The other thing that I love about the Big Agnes brand too is that they are all about comfort, and I will wholeheartedly say that this is going to be one of my favorite tents. And part of it is that I can actually sit up in this without having to feel like I have a low ceiling hanging over my head, and have multiple different pockets and storage, so that way I can go ahead and store and orient my things when I'm in my tent itself. That's the tent right over there. Let's go ahead and hop right into the next sleep system. This right here is my sleeping bag. This right here is the Neutrino by Rab, and I absolutely love this thing for a couple different reasons. But before getting into the bag specifics itself, let's talk about things to consider when picking out a sleeping bag. Sleeping bags come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Mummy, rectangle, wide mummy, spoon. Whole lot of terminology out there. Additionally, there are down bags as well as there are synthetic down bags, or synthetics in general. Starting off with down, I have right here is a down bag, and it's super compressible, it's lightweight, and it's really warm. Those are some of the key advantages when investing in a down bag, and typically they last longer as long as you take care of them properly. At the same time, the downsides of having a down bag is, one, if you're allergic to down, you might want to look into some synthetic bags. Otherwise, you might have some allergies, things might start to flare up, you're not going to have a fun time within your sleeping bag. At the same time, within more humid environments, down tends to not be as, say, robust or resilient, and tends to accumulate a little bit more moisture. On the flip side, when it comes to synthetic bags, for all the strengths and disadvantages that I talked about when it comes to down, you can think of the exact opposite when it comes to synthetic bags. Synthetic bags in general, they're going to be a little bit more robust, or really more robust when it comes to those humid environments, much more resilient to soaking up moisture. At the same time, synthetic bags are perfect for people who may be allergic to down bags too. So really good option. There's going to be an option for everyone. At the same time, synthetic bags are going to be slightly less expensive compared to a down bag itself. Don't want to break the bank? Go ahead and go for a synthetic bag. As for synthetic bags and some of the advantages too, some of them can be as compressible as down bags, but just not as superior when it comes to that packability and lightweightness. The lightweightness and compactability of my down bag is as compact as my bear canister, which I will show later on as well. Additionally, when it comes to the synthetic bag as well, maybe not be as warm, but it is still going to be comparably warm to a down bag itself. I gotta give a quick shout out to Rab because Rab products are absolutely amazing. I have a lot of their down jackets, but at the same time, what I've always loved about their products is just their commitment and quality and care to the products themselves. Now, for a little fun fact, Rab got their start within sleeping bags, and because they started to branch out into other different parts of like apparel after their sleeping bags, I would say like you really can't go wrong with a Rab bag whatsoever. And what I love about the Neutrino compared to some of the other bags that I've seen on the market is that the stuff sack itself, it is lined with waterproofing material, so that way if water were to get on the bag, it can go ahead and stay dry and warm. I wouldn't submerge it by all means, but at the same time, just knowing that there's an added layer of protection when it comes to my sleeping bag is absolutely amazing from the cold and wet environments. Let's talk about shapes as well too. So something to consider is that if you are more of a side sleeper, you might want to get a sleeping bag that has a little bit more room and generosity to it and room to roll around, versus now if you are someone who wants to sleep on their back and also stay really lightweight when it comes to the setup, you might want to go for more of like a spoon shape or like a mummy kind of style, so that way not only are the dimensions narrower, you are cutting down on a little bit more bulk as well as weight, but at the same time there's just multiple different shapes and sizes. You definitely just got to go ahead and try out a sleeping bag when you have the opportunity to. Definitely go ahead and check out your local outdoor retail store for more information on that. Of course, you're not just going to sleep on the ground because you need a sleeping pad. Sleeping pads are excellent because they help keep your body insulated from the ground itself. Now this right here, there's a sleeping pad for everyone out there. I use the Nemo Tensor, and I use it for a couple different reasons. Some things to consider when picking out your own sleeping pad is, for one, how lightweight and compact you want it to be, and also how comfortable do you want the pad to be too. There are some pads out there that are going to be a mix between foam as well as air, which typically that combination is going to be more on the weightier side and a little bit more bulky too. Now there are some pads out there, just like this guy over here, that are the size of an Arizona can, that are going to be all air. They do come with their own pump sack, so at the same time it is going to be really easy to deploy. Just takes a couple breaths here and there to go ahead and blow it up. But at the same time, because that this is a all air pad, I am saving on a lot of weight. Not opting for foam, I'm opting out of a lot less bulk as well. Last but not least, you want to make sure that you have a pad that does not sound like a bag of potato chips as you're sleeping on it and rolling around. There are definitely pads out there that sound like that. I'm not going to name any names whatsoever. Definitely check out your local outdoor gear store for more information. Also just trying out some pads in real time, so that way you can have a better comfortable basis on what to commit your pad on. Last but not least, gone are the days of using, say, my jacket as a pillow, and I'm using the Sea to Summit Arrows Down pillow over here. I would say pillows, you can go ahead and like say take this or not out there in the backcountry. I like a little bit more comfort because if I'm well rested, now I'm ready to go ahead and tackle the day head on. I love using this Arrows Down pillow for a couple different reasons. Small, compact, lightweight. It is really the size of my fist. Doesn't take up a whole lot of footprint within my bag itself. And additionally, like, I'm not feeling a sore neck the next morning whenever I use a pillow. Again, gone are the days I'm using my jacket as a pillow, because if in case I need that extra warmth, I can use that down jacket to warm myself up in my bag. And additionally, I have this pillow over here to give myself some extra comfortability when I'm sleeping throughout the night. So very useful tool, highly recommend. Now getting to one of my favorite portions of the video, and that is going to be food storage, how to cook your food, as well as water filtration and purification. Starting off, first things first, you want to make sure that you're storing your food or anything with a scent properly. Now, this right over here is the BV1 by Bear Vault, and I absolutely love this thing for a couple different reasons. For one, it is super compact and lightweight. It is the size of my head, not to say that I have a big head, but at the same time, if I want to go even bigger, I can go ahead and roll this thing up and deploy it and store all my things after I'm done backpacking and I've settled into my camp. Now, anything with a scent you want to go ahead and put in here, and you want to go ahead and put this thing away from your campsite, usually about 70 to 100 paces depending on like where you're at. But at the same time, having your food away from your site means not only securing your site but also securing the safety of people around you too, because at night there are definitely some critters, depending on how deep in the backcountry you are and other wildlife that are going to be out there. You just want to make sure that they don't have an opportunity to intrude on your space and just cause havoc when they're over there too. I went with this one because, again, if I'm going to be out there for 4 days, 3 nights, anything under that kind of range, this is going to be perfect. However, if you're going to be out there for multiple hikes or multiple days, you definitely want to go a bit bigger and carry more provisions on you at the same time too. Before I show you my cook system, I just want to talk about things to consider when it comes to a cook system. You're definitely going to need a stove if you're going to go ahead and, say, like boil water or like make some food out there. At the same time, understand what it is, like utensil wise, that you want to go ahead and bring with you. Some people might want to bring a pot, a pan, depending on what they want to cook out there when they're in the backcountry. Think about what goes into that water filtration system and what goes into your water, because if your water's not good, it's not treated properly, and you get a stomachache, that's not going to be a good sign. Now, going into my cook system over here, this right here, I have the Jetboil Minimo, and I love this thing for a lot of different reasons. Now, when it comes to my cook system, I just want to make sure I have everything that I need all in one place, so that way I know that when I'm in the backcountry, I'm able to cook my food with absolute confidence, and I know that everything is there versus having to piecemeal some things. Now, there are some items out there where you could just get the stove itself and then just mix and match with other different things. However, because I have everything that I need all in one space, I know that I have my pot, I have my stove, and all I need to bring with me is just my fuel. There are multiple Jetboils out there, but this one I feel like suits my needs for a couple different reasons. Relative to, say, like some of their Flash series, which is really good at just boiling water when I need it to. I like using the Minimo because I can actually, like, quote unquote cook with this thing. It has a simmer function, so I can go ahead and control the heat as necessary. So I'll make, like, say, ramen or anything like that, anything soup based, and it gets the job done, and it's all in one place too. I will go ahead and just put the ramen pack in here, boil the water, and I'm good to go. Unless you want to use your hands and like save a little bit of more weight, definitely recommend bringing a spork or some kind of eating utensil along the way too. Last but not least, we have to talk about water filtration as well as water purification too. When it comes to water filtration, I have right here the Sawyer system, and it's the Canuck squeeze over here. It's a 1 liter. What I love about this is just super simple. It's plug and play. All you got to do is collect water within this bag over here, attach the filtration system, and you're ready to play and drink some water. Now, at the same time, because I'm out there in the backcountry and I don't know what's been happening with the water, I like to go ahead and take it a step further. I'll go ahead and put my filtered water within the Jetboil and boil it. Purifying your water also means helping killing off the viruses as well as just like any other kind of like bacteria that is within the water itself, so I can make sure that I'm not having an upset stomach when I'm out there in the backcountry too. There's a whole lot of different water filters out there. You might use gravity bags depending on like how much water you need to filter out, or different systems to help purify and filter your water, which can take longer. At the same time, I would say as a general rule of thumb, go ahead and bring your own water filtration system, even though if you're going to be camping with like multiple campers at once, it's best if you bring your own filtration system, because if one filtration system fails, you can go ahead and use your own and you're not going to be without clean water. I just want to do a little bit rapid fire of this section because I feel like some of these items are pretty self-explanatory and we don't have to get too much into detail. This right here is a first aid kit, pretty self-explanatory. This right here would be ideal for 1 to 2 people, maybe like say 4 days, 3 nights, or maybe anything under that range. The best case scenario is when you don't have to use this thing because you know that everyone is secured, they're safe, and it's mission accomplished when no one got hurt. But general rule of thumb, definitely bring your own med kit, 1 per person if you are going to be going for multiple people, so that way in case you get lost, separated, and like you get hurt, at least you can go ahead and treat yourself. I have dry bags and I have a trash bag. They're very much the same thing. You can use them interchangeably, but I like to use them for different kinds of functions and purposes. I have different colored dry bags as well as trash bags because, for one, I like to make sure that I know what I'm pulling out and also what I'm storing. Now, I use like different colored bags for different purposes. One color is going to be like, say, for more fragile items, electronics, whatever it may be. Another bag maybe for like trash itself. And speaking of trash, just want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Remember, leave no trace. Take care of Mother Nature because she takes care of you. We are on this beautiful planet. We all want to share together, so definitely leave it better than how you found it. I carry big trash bags on me, and what I like to do is also line it with a plastic liner, so that way if anything were to like say puncture or break, at least I have like 1 line of defense itself too, and it's not leaking in my bag. Whatever you pack in, definitely go ahead and pack out and bring it back out with you. Now, in terms of the dry bags over here, they come in a variety of different shapes and sizes as well, but at the same time the function is going to be the same. Go ahead and keep whatever it is that you want to keep dry, or if you want to start being more mindful of how you organize things, use different color code dry bags as well too, because when you're a more efficient packer, you are a more efficient backpacker. So keep that in mind, my friends. I use this headlamp and it's the Cosmos R. As for the R series, it's going to be rechargeable by Black Diamond, so really easy, efficient to use. It has a white light as well as a red light. White light so that way if I want to go for something like really bright, I can definitely use that. But if I want something that's a little bit easier on the eyes, at least have the red light to go ahead and help me. If you're going to be going up in terms of build quality as well as like the IP rating or the waterproof rating, you're going to be paying more for what it is, as well as some fancy lights here and there too. But you really can't go wrong with like a white light and a red light, and you're all good to go. And this right here, I have a power bank. Probably not going to be necessary depending on how long you're going to be out there for, especially if like say you're not going to have any signal. I just like to put my phone on airplane mode so that way I go ahead and conserve energy. I can just go ahead and forego this guy over here. It is going to add a little bit more weight, but knowing that I have some security, peace of mind, and knowing that if I need to recharge anything, I totally can. But I would say like it is not necessarily a necessity at times. Really depends on where you're going to be at the time of your travels. And this right here is a trowel. A trowel is going to be things that you use to go ahead and create your own toilet, because chances are there's no designated toilets out there in the backcountry, so you got to make your own. Just dig yourself a hole, and what I love about this is not only is it solid, it's rigid, and it's durable, but at the same time, at least with this Cedar Summit one that I have, I can go ahead and store what we call mountain money or some paper, toilet paper, within the handle over here too, so I can go ahead and make sure that when nature calls, this can answer to the call of duty. Yeah. Pun intended. There definitely aren't going to be showers out there in the backcountry. Now, if you're someone that needs a shower every night, chances are you could probably go to a lake or some water stream, or at the same time, you can use these guys over here. This right over here is the Cedar Summit bath wipes. They come in a variety of different shapes as well as counts as well, but I like using this one because it is super low profile, really easy to pack and carry, and these are some large wipes. And if you're someone with someone with sensitive skin, just like myself, I really can't go wrong with these wipes. I've used these on multiple different kinds of excursions. The aloe vera does feel really nice. At the same time, this isn't only to just be used when it comes to say like just backpacking. I use it for car camping, places where like I don't have access to a shower, or maybe even like a quick wipe down after say like going mountain biking, cycling, whatever it may be. It's really multi-use depending on how you use it. Now, when your gear gets a boo-boo, you want to use these guys over here. This right here are basically bandages. These are gear aid patches. Now, I highly advocate for this for a lot of different reasons. One being like your down bag, your sleeping bag, your tent, whatever it may be that has like a nylon material. You might want to use this in case so that way like you can patch up a hole so filament doesn't leak out, or at the same time, say that you have a leak in your pad, you want to make sure that you use these so that way you can go ahead and make sure that your stuff is insulated and that it is retaining air. A lot of different use cases for this. Again, super lightweight, compact, really easy to apply to. Just make sure that the area that you're going to be applying it on is clean so that way all the gunk doesn't stick under the residue, and that way it doesn't peel off as easy. When it comes to staying hydrated out there in the field, you definitely want to make sure that you got some nice water on hand. At the same time, I use this guy over here so that way if I want to make sure that I go to sleep really well after a full day of backpacking, couple shots of whiskey within the Yeti canister, really can't go wrong. Super lightweight, compact. Yeti, I love their installation. There are a lot of other brands that make a good flask, but at the same time, I feel like Yeti makes the best flask and really just the best installation. I have dropped this. I've used this when I go snowboarding. I've used this in a variety of situations, and I will say this thing holds up really well. Now, my friends, last but not least, this right here, I have carbon poles by Black Diamond. When it comes to poles, this is something that you can forego depending on where you're going to be at, but at the same time, I liked having carbon poles for a couple different reasons. Now, when it comes to poles, things to look out for when selecting your poles are going to be one, what the handle type is like, and also how far that these can extend out. Now, these are called telescope poles because I can go ahead and extend it out for quite a distance. It's really useful in situations where like you're going to be descending a really steep slope and you want to go ahead and stabilize yourself and get proper footing. When it comes to ascending, you want to make sure that this telescope retracts inward, because if you are going to have a long pole as you're climbing up into a steep slope, it's going to be really hard to climb up that. Being able to shorten it will be able to help you find your footing, distribute your weight as needed. When it comes to the handles themselves too, I love having cork handles because I just like the way that it feels on my hand. There's like rubber, there's other different materials, and so when my hands get a little clammy after just a long day of hiking, I know that this thing is secured within my hands and it's not causing any blisters or any unnecessary rubbing. My friends, we have covered so much ground together. There was a lot to pack as well as unpack too, but if you need some extra help, don't worry, I got you guys. For any questions that you have, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to help answer them. When it comes to backpacking and building out your own kit, it can be very, very expensive. At the same time, it can also be not breaking the bank, and you can rent out your gear too. So Sports Basement also rents out our gear as well. So that way, if you want to go ahead and get an introductory to backpacking and you want to make sure that you have everything that you need for a successful backpacking trip, definitely check out Sports Basement's rental site. I will go ahead and drop a link to that in the description below. You can be anywhere within the continental United States to go ahead and rent out your gear too. We ship nationwide. So head on over to Sports Basement, let them know that Adrian sent you, and if you want some extra help, definitely go check out the Sports Basement at the Redwood City location. I'll be there, and I'll be happy to help you out. So with all that in mind, my friends, hope to see you all soon, and we'll be going out there together more often. And on that note, I will see you all in the next video.